John, up and running with the first win of the National Hurling League campaign against the neighbours Clare. I'm sure you're happy with that.
Happy with the win, happy with 2 points, happy with probably 58 minutes of the performance. It was solid, we controlled the game for good periods of it. Last 10 or 12 minutes we lost our shape. We made quite a few changes, alright, at that time, but at the same time, we kind of leaked 1-5, I think, there in the last 10-12 minutes. We were disappointed with that. So, listen, last week we were disappointed with the entirety of the second half. This week we're disappointed with 12 minutes of the second half. So, it's an improvement, and that's what we're looking for this week.
That goes into the incremental improvements category, I'm sure, John, as you say. How do you kind of address that? Is it just a case of sticking with it and, I suppose, training week in, week out to improve that?
I think it just takes time to work towards performing across the 75 minutes that you're going to need to perform, maybe 80 minutes even. And that takes a bit of time to build up towards that, and it's not always going to be there. So, we just got to keep working on it. We have 2 weeks now to the next game. Gives us a chance to get a body of work done again now in the next 2 weeks, and hopefully we can be a better team again in 2 weeks' time.
In terms of the shooting accuracy, John, today, and obviously ruling out the last 10-12 minutes, it was nearly at championship level at certain stages.
Yeah, our accuracy was good last week too. I think it was up over 60% last week, so I think it'll be somewhere in the same region this week, and that's where it's got to be if you're going to be successful, And even at that last week, we still couldn't win the game, so we just didn't create enough scoring chances last week. Whereas this week, I think our ability to create scoring chances was much higher.
David Reedy obviously gone off. Is there?
David just pulled up with a hamstring, so it's probably going to be a couple of weeks, before he's going to be back in competitive action. So we'll just have to work on that and get it right for him. But we've been there before. It's hopefully not going to be too serious.
Is Adam English an option that you always had in mind for midfield?
Listen, I think we're just looking at our group overall and seeing how best we can put it to use. We have to maximise the talent and its effectiveness within our group. So, if a fella's given a job to do, we expect him to go in and do it. So, it's a good step forward for him tonight in that regard, and hopefully he'll take many more. He had a really difficult season last year with injuries, so this is only his second full game in 2023, and he was laid out for maybe 7 months with injury before that. So he knows himself he's a long ways to go yet, and he was gassed out in that last 15 minutes. So there's a piece of work for him to do there.
Just finally for me, John, I suppose you look at where you are this year and where you were maybe in the league last year. You seem to be kind of streets ahead of where you were last year. Is that down to coming back that bit earlier, and were you always targeting that?
We didn't look like we were streets ahead of anything in the second half last week, and we didn't certainly look like we were streets ahead of anything in the last 12 minutes tonight. So we've a load of work to do. Don't be worried. We're not looking at it like that. We're only looking ahead and seeing how good can we be next week, how good can we be the week after. We've got to keep striving to, as you say, incrementally improve from week to week and game to game. That's the challenge.
John, just very quickly, Declan Hannon, Mike Casey, Galway, what are the chances for them?
I don't know. We have to wait and see. Declan's only a week now with that hand injury. It was a nasty injury. So they won't be, I'd say, involved in probably in the next 2 weeks. Unlikely.
You had 35 minutes last week and you had about 50 minutes this week. It seemed to be a reasonable amount of intensity in the game. Is that up near the level you were looking for? Take away the other parts of those matches now.
Listen, I don't think the intensity was quite there, to be honest with you, overall this evening in the game itself. I think it lacked a bit of intensity at times. So, but at the same time, when we had the ball, I think we used the ball well, and the intensity piece is one that you're always going to have to work very, very hard on.
And so is the kind of the aim now for the next match is to kind of just extending that period of intensity until it gets all right up to the 70 minutes?
Well, see how high we can get it up to and how long we can carry it through, but that takes a lot of fitness and a lot of effort and a lot of discipline, and hopefully the competitiveness within the group will drive that.
Yeah, and were you surprised how easy in a way Limerick were dominating Clare in the first half?
I didn't feel like that to us down the sideline at all. Puckouts were very, very keenly contested on both sides. Both teams had to work really, really hard on their own puck out and on each other's puckouts. So it didn't feel like that at all on the sideline.
John, just one word on the goal as well. A great run from Adam English, great vision from him as well, and a fine finish from Donegal O'Donnell. I suppose two of the younger players trying to prove their point in the panel.
Yeah, they did the right thing. Yeah, movement was good by both. Line break by Adam. Donegal peeled away into a nice space, allowed the man to be drawn and made himself available and finished it well. We've got to do that more often though, we've got to do that more often, but at the same time it's encouraging.